everyone, Edna Kimball, Edna Sells, and welcome to today's episode where we are talking to a couple of real estate investors. Do you go with that term? Is that on your social media?
We have just started making a social media page.
Fantastic.
And we put investors on there.
Okay.
Still kind of sinking in, though.
Yes, it sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you introduce yourselves. You might notice that there's some similarities here. So we've got a couple of sisters. So I'll let you start.
I'm Kylie Parrish.
Okay, Kylie.
And I'm Gina Landrum.
Okay, so this has been a kind of a quick process.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it has.
You guys contacted us and said, hey, we're interested in getting into some investment properties. Braden Smith took you out and bam, you just kind of jumped in feet first.
Yeah, we did. We decided about a year ago, or kind of in the fall of 2022, we started talking and said, let's invest in real estate and start kind of doing some research in that and finding our market. We came across Tahlequah, and it was actually January of last year that we closed on our first deal.
Oh my gosh.
In Tahlequah, and it's been great, and it's just kind of been a snowball.
And this is what I always tell people, but tell me if you agree. The first one is the hardest one.
Yes. Oh, it is. There's so many.
You're terrified, right? And then it gets really easy, really fun. Yes. I mean, in the sense of, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Exactly. So it becomes a little addictive. Yes. So January, so a year ago, first property, how many doors do you have now?
We now have 4 doors.
4 doors.
We're
okay.
Contract on a 5th one.
Yeah, I told you it's addictive. It's addictive. It is. That is awesome.
Like after we kind of muddled through that first process and that learning experience, it's like, okay, we can do this. Let's try it again. And then it just snowballs from there.
Yeah. And I think we figured out too that, we're going to run into things we don't know what to do. We figured out how to figure it out. And we knew we could do that again.
I love that. There's a podcast that's literally everything is figure outable. I still struggle with saying the word, but she's made $1 bazillion on it. But I do think all investors have to have that to be able to do this long term. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm one of those people that I always think, what's the worst case scenario? And could I overcome that? And I'm like, I can, let's do it, So, right. So it sounds like that was your approach too. Yeah. So you're not from Tahlequah.
No, we both live an hour and a half away.
I don't think I realized that then. Okay, fantastic. And so how did you determine Tahlequah is a good fit?
We definitely saw the need for, rental properties. We see where investors can do well here with the hospitals, the college, the med school, the optometry school. So lots of opportunity here for investors.
And it just keeps growing.
And it keeps growing.
Right. It's fantastic. So, and did you know when you were coming in that you were going to just do like single family, or what was your thought process for the first one?
For that first one, we were looking for a value add property.
Okay.
So we were really looking for something that we could add an additional unit or convert a garage or do something to make it more than a single family home.
Okay.
And so that's where it really helped to have Braden finding those properties for us. And we've also both worked full time. So it's not... We didn't have the time to really comb through all of the possibilities, but we just let Braden know what we were looking for, and he's the one that said, I've got the thing for you. Let me show you this. And it turned out to be the perfect first investment.
And so that was a single door, but correct me, you turned it into 2 doors?
That's correct.
Okay.
We converted the garage into an additional 1-bed, 1-bath unit. And so now that became 2 doors.
That is amazing. And that's exactly the way you do it. Now, I'm noticing you're using a lot of real estate terms, and I know Braden is really good, but how did you learn the lingo, and what are you leaning into other than Braden to get that information?
It's definitely been a learning process. A lot of books, a lot of podcasts, a lot of throwing ideas off of each other as well.
Okay.
And throwing, teaching each other what we're learning. But it's just been learning this year has been a
YouTube
lot.
and forums also.
Okay.
Just kind of in all of our spare time, it has taken over like that's what I get excited about. And I want
Love
to
it.
listen to the podcast, and I want to see what other books are out there talking about the different strategies for investing and in real
Absolutely.
estate.
So what's your favorite podcast other than this one? But what's your favorite podcast?
I love the Bigger Pockets podcast.
Yeah. I could tell with just some of the lingo that you're Bigger Pockets. And so how did you discover Bigger Pockets?
I don't know.
Like online searching, really.
Okay.
Once we decided, so we initially did one of those, I think it was like a $14 masterclass.
Okay. Perfect.
That did just this overview of several different types of real estate investing.
Mm-hmm.
And after getting a taste of that, we started kind of searching to see, okay, what kind of free education is out there on
Absolutely.
these subjects. And
Yeah.
that's where we came across Bigger Pockets.
Okay, well, I'm a huge fan of Bigger Pockets, and I kind of shoved that down the team's throat. So I didn't know if Braden had shared that or if that had come through.
We were already doing that.
Okay.
I think,
And
at
that's
the time
yeah.
what
we
impressed
reached
us
out.
about Braden, too.
Yes.
is
Oh, is that he
he's
knew
a
it?
Bigger Pockets
Yes,
guy. So
absolutely.
okay, this is the agent for us
Yeah.
because he knows what we're looking for and what our goals are here.
Absolutely. And I think anyone who's thinking about getting into real estate, whether it's an investment or, whatever aspect, I think I send everyone to Bigger Pockets. And there's a lot of places you can go and listen to. But what I love about Bigger Pockets is that it is actually entertaining. Like I catch myself just giggling sometimes or laughing, but they also share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they say, this is what I did. This is what went wrong with it. And this is how I fixed it. So I think it's a great tool, like you said, for learning. So
Yeah, and it's a very supportive community too.
absolutely.
Which is great.
Absolutely.
There's no dumb questions, and everyone's willing to help you through the next thing that you have to figure out.
Yeah, I love that. I think that in real estate, anytime you feel like the expert that you're asking makes you feel dumb about the question, that they're not really an expert, right? Because we all we don't know what we don't know, and it's just not cool to make someone feel like they shouldn't ask that next question. So love that. So you bought one door, turned it into 2 doors, right?
Yes.
And those are just your standard long-term rental?
One side is a long term. We furnished the new side. So the garage side that we did, the 1 bed, 1 bath, fully furnished it
Okay.
and put it out on Airbnb with a minimum stay of 30 days.
Okay.
And within about 10 days, we had our first renter. And he has rented it 30 days at a time since July.
That is
So
amazing.
he's still been in there. He's a great tenant. And so we have that midterm as the small side, we call it.
Which is
and then
even
long
better
renters.
because you're not cleaning it every time you turn around, right? So, and how much fun was it furnishing it? Did you enjoy that part?
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
was.
yeah. So, and I'm assuming that because you both work full time, you've got some systems built in, right?
do.
So tell us kind of what that looks like.
So we have a really good contractor here in Tahlequah,
Nice.
as well as a plumber and electrician that we have developed a relationship with.
So key, yes.
And
And a
then
really great realtor.
we have a really great agent.
Yes, yes.
And then we also, with adding other doors as well, we've added in some systems to automate some of that stuff. So the messaging, those
It's
kind of things.
because the platforms are kind of made, I mean, it's not meant to be a full-time job for you,
Exactly.
right? And they take the bulk of it off of your plate. So the only thing that I say is that if the only part that excites you is the furnishing it, then it's probably not the best way to approach it. It is a lot of fun, and I think it's one of the major perks, but I do sometimes tamp that down with people because that's the only part that they're thinking about, and there is a lot of stress and worry. How have you done with the freezing temperatures? Any hiccups or concerns?
We've got great tenants.
Oh, good.
This is our first winter with this weather.
Okay.
And so they've been really good at keeping us up to date with how things are going at the house. And we've just kind of been addressing issues as they come up.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
thankfully nothing major.
Yes, nothing
Okay.
major.
But as
Good.
the weather was rolling in, I just send a quick text to everybody. Hey, don't forget to, open the cabinet doors and drip the outside faucets and just things like that. Let us know if you're having problems. And we actually had one tenant that sent us a picture back and said, there's ice inside this window. So we, this morning, just met with a window man to give us an estimate on that. But it's like we just, as those things come up, you start getting on the phone and calling those people just like you would if it was your own house that you're living in.
Figuring it out as it comes up. Yes. So, so buy a single door, turn it into two, and then launch into Airbnb. That is amazing. And then you got kind of crazy and you decided to go out of state.
Yes.
Right? So you live in Oklahoma, bought 2 doors an hour and a half away from where you live, and now you've bought I guess it would be door number 3 in Florida.
We wanted a beach house.
We wanted to have a beach house, a short-term rental.
Okay.
And a place where we could go.
A place we could vacation.
Perfect. That is so smart. That is so smart. So how on earth did you do that from a long distance? Did you fly down every weekend? And
No, we got under contract on that one, sight unseen.
Oh my gosh.
We worked with a local agent who went in. He took lots of pictures for us. He did a video walkthrough. And the great thing is, he said, you know what? We can get the inspection done. And if anything comes up, you can always get out of this contract.
Right.
So we got under contract on that one before we even saw the place. We went based on just analyzing the property itself, looking at the area, going off the pictures and the videos. And then the inspection report came back good. Then on a whim, we just decided to hop in the car and drive down there one weekend.
Yes,
So we left after work on Friday, drove down there while we had it under contract, and went and looked at it and said, okay.
Yeah, I think anytime you can view it during the inspection period, always the best thing to do. So the realtor in Florida, did he point out any negatives in the video initially? Like when he's doing the walkthrough, did he point out, some things that, hey, you might want to be aware of this, or was it all peach pie?
He did. He would say, this might be something you'd want to consider updating.
Perfect.
This is something that would be okay for now, but at the end of the busy season, you may want to replace that.
Okay.
So he was really good at, when you find somebody that's kind of their niche, that's really positive for especially an out-of-state investment.
Absolutely, because we really caution people on buying sight unseen, but I think that the difference is if the realtor is really truly working for you, they're going to point out, like you said, some, hey, let's be aware, some red flags, and then always do the home inspection and check the references and make sure that the inspector is actually qualified and has good results.
And we appreciated too that he knew this is something you would need to update now to protect your investment.
Oh, that's
this
perfect.
Is something that would rent out just fine, but would need to be fixed eventually. So knowing that market, he knew how to guide us as far as what to tackle first.
Yeah. And I think that's important to not always assume you're going to get the best deal by going with the listing agent. You want to make sure that the person you're working with is familiar with investment property, especially if you're going to do short-term rental, because a lot of realtors sell them but have never owned them or don't really know the ins and outs of them. So I think that's important. So you bought a beach property. So that's door number 3, and you put it on Airbnb?
Yes, and Vrbo. And then we ended up creating our own direct booking site as well.
Oh my goodness.
So if it's okay with you, I'll plug that.
Yes, please. Absolutely. In fact,
sweetbeachvacations.com.
I love it. We'll actually put it in the link below also so that they can click on that. So tell us about this beach property because I need to go to Florida. So
It's great. It's located in Navarre. It's on the panhandle of Florida between Pensacola and Destin.
Okay.
It's on the Emerald Coast.
Oh, wow.
It's a family-friendly area. Still has some local mom-and-pop restaurants and coffee shops, food trucks. I mean, just a really cool area to go visit. And the beaches there are gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And they're not as crowded as some of the more popular vacation areas. So that's what really drew us to that area.
Yeah. So out of all of Florida, did you already know this market or...
We had never even been there before.
Oh my goodness. So how did you zero in on that?
The real estate agent helped us.
Okay, perfect.
We told him what we were looking for as far as what we wanted in a house to vacation to.
Right.
But told him also we wanted to be in a good Airbnb market. And he had sent us several
Sure. Yeah.
properties. None of them were perfect. And then he sent us this one. We had never heard of Navarre before. And so we did a little research on the town and on the beach, decided it was perfect. And that's how we found it.
That is amazing. You ladies are brave, but in a good way. In a good way. I think you always do your own research and you follow up. So I think that's the mistake that sometimes people have made is, they sounded really nice on the phone and I trusted everything they said. Red flag, right? So you guys actually follow up and make sure. So, so how do you handle that from such a long distance?
As far as the reservations are concerned, we have it all set up to filter into one property management software. We use Hospitable.
Okay.
Airbnb, Vrbo, and our direct booking site all tie into that. We also have it tied to an app that alerts our housekeeper when there is a turnover coming up, and she confirms that. We did, whenever we went for closing on the house, we interviewed housekeepers in person.
Okay.
Found a great one. And so she kind of is our eyes on the property, our boots on the ground.
That is so important.
We also have a handyman in that area that I could text and say, okay, this went out or this needs fixed. And he hops over there and does that. It's all automated as far as the reservations coming in and the guest messaging. And then I just respond to that as those.
Yeah. And that's really important for those of you who are maybe just getting into short-term rentals. If you don't have that third-party platform, you could end up being booked on VRBO and on Airbnb, and then you've got a problem. You could lose your Superhost status or never get it because of that. So, are you at Superhost yet?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
congratulations!
on the beach house.
That is fantastic. Okay, so that is door number 3.
Yes.
Okay, so and you said you've got a total of 4 and 5 in contract. So tell us about number 4.
Here in Tahlequah.
Back to Tahlequah.
Back to Tahlequah. Single family, 2-bed, 2-bath.
Okay.
Long-term rental.
Okay. And Braden found that one for you?
Braden found that
yes.
one.
There you go. Yeah.
So yay for Braden.
Yes.
And again, we got that one. We did come look at that one before we got it under contract.
Yeah.
But we knew because of the area and because we were familiar now with Tahlequah and what we were looking for, we just told the lady, we're ready to buy this.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Let's make this happen because she had several offers and she went with ours. And we're so fortunate because it's turned out to be a great property. And we had, again, so much fun fixing that one up.
Yeah.
And getting a tenant in there.
And I'm assuming the properties that you're purchasing are somewhat of hot properties in the sense that there will be other offers. The realtors that you've worked with, did they ask for proof of funds and your status of being able to purchase up front? Yeah.
Yes, we had that all ready to go. As soon as we knew we were ready to make another offer.
Step number 1.
Step number 1. We made sure that we had the financing. We made sure that we had the proof of funds, all of that ready to go so that we could make a serious offer. We would be taken seriously and our sellers would know that they wouldn't have any hiccups there.
And I think that is such an important step. A lot of times people contact the realtor and say, hey, I want to get into investment property. And the first thing I'll say is, okay, let's talk about the financing. And their response sometimes is, well, when we find the property, then we'll do that. And then later they feel like no one took them seriously. And I'm like, well, that's because, right? So also it sounds like you've chosen a realtor for each of the markets and you're kind of leaning into that. And that way they're contacting you and making you aware, hey, you need to come look at this property.
Yes. And that's key, is establishing those relationships.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're not all the time the one that's out there searching for those properties. You have this professional on your side who's doing that kind of footwork for you and then contacting you with those properties.
I love that. So that's so good. And so now, is it a short-term rental or a long-term rental?
Long-term.
Long-term. Okay. So now you've got 2 long-term and 1 midterm and 1 short-term.
Yes.
Okay. And so tell me about the one you're in contract on.
We are really excited about this one. It's another beach house in Navarre. We love that area. We love that market. And we found a really good opportunity. And we are going to try a different financing method on this one. We are doing a different financing method on this one.
Okay.
We are assuming a loan.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes, at 2%.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes.
And so how did you find this fantastic deal?
The husband of our housekeeper
Ah, relationships, people.
Relationships.
found
I
this
love
one for
it.
us and thought, hey, you're doing so great with your
Yes.
first beach house. This is actually in the same townhouse complex,
Oh, that's
just across the
perfect.
parking lot. And he
Wow.
said, you're doing great with this one. Do you want another one? And we looked at that interest rate and said, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he said this one has an assumable mortgage at 2%, would you be interested in pursuing that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, sure.
Absolutely. Why would you not be? Well, and to be fair, for those of you who are listening, it's not as simple as just going, okay, I'll take it. I get 2%. You do have to make up the difference in the equity. So
Yes,
like if
right.
it's a $400,000 property and they only owe 200,000 on it, then you've got to come up with the 200,000 to be able to take over the remainder. So
Yes.
a lot of times people miss that step and they just think, oh, this is awesome. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, only if you've got some cash on hand.
Yes.
But it's definitely worth it. And so this will be a short-term rental also?
Yes.
Wow, that is so exciting. And so when is closing date? Because I've got a vacation date coming up.
Doing the assumable mortgage is a little bit more complicated than
Yes.
just taking out a loan from a bank.
Yeah.
And so we don't have a closing date set yet. This has been a longer process. We've been under contract already for 3 months.
Okay.
And they're saying it may be another 90 days before we close.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very complicated process for a simple transaction.
Yes.
And it kind of reminds me of the old short sales that we were doing, 8 years ago, so to speak. What we're finding is that the mortgage companies have not done assumable loans in about 8 to 10 years because the rates have been so great. And so even though they have an assumable loan department, that person has never actually done one, or there's not anyone in that department. So definitely approach it with some patience. And I think but any amazing deal is going to need to be vetted, and it's going to take a little longer. So, well, how exciting. So that is how you go from 0 doors to 5 doors. So that is amazing. So what's next? What do you see on the horizon? Are you going to own the whole complex there in Navarre, or?
We love Tahlequah. We
Yeah.
love
Okay.
the long-term rentals. We like that we now have, we will have 2 houses there in the same complex where our families will be able to vacation together.
Oh, yes.
But really, as far as the investment side of it, being close in location to our investments, we love the Tahlequah market. We love this area. We've done well here, and so I think we will continue to look for more opportunities here in Tahlequah.
Maybe
I
start
love
to
it.
expand into multifamily.
Oh, you've heard it here. So, okay, well, fantastic. Well, I think that the average person before they do their first deal can throw up so many roadblocks on why it won't work, and I just tell them if you can get over the first hump, it really does get easier.
And I
Absolutely.
am the roadblock one in
Uh-oh.
that relationship. And she is the one that says, come on, let's do it. We'll figure it out. So if you have blocks to throw up, find a good partner who can say, come on, we'll figure it out. And we haven't run across anything that we can't get support from our real estate agent, from the Bigger Pockets community. You just got to get started and get past that first one.
It
That
definitely
is so
helps to
true.
have a complementary personality type,
Yes.
where she's the one going, okay, let's slow down. Let's make sure all this makes sense on paper. Let's do the math, the calculations on it. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
let's do this. We've got it all together. We're going to just jump right in and we'll figure it out as we go.
Yes.
I think every relationship needs the gas and the brake.
Yes.
Yes.
If you're all gas, you're going to fly off the cliff. If you're all brake, you're never going to move forward.
Get started.
So yes, there's some jolting in there because you've got your foot all the way on the gas and she's got her foot all the way on the brake, but it really is the safest way to proceed, I think. So
Yeah,
I
and
love that.
Our goals are aligned. We have the same goal.
Right.
And I think that helps to find the balance, is that we've got to get to the goal. How do we use each of our strengths to get there?
Love
Absolutely.
that. I love that. So you're the money gal then, on paper,
Yes.
the analytical.
Yes.
Okay. And then you're like, you can see the big picture
She
and
has the
long
vision,
term.
for
Okay.
sure.
I love it. That's part of it. So I hate to even ask this on air. We might have to cut this out. But so is there a big sister mentality that plays in? And who is the big sister? You guys could almost be twins. So
I'm 2 years older.
okay. So it is super close. So that
Yeah,
makes
we're very
sense.
I
Yeah.
think our relationship has always been like that, where I've always looked to her before I make a big decision. And even before we got into the real estate investing, I've always run everything past her.
Yeah.
And I think even now that we've gotten into the real estate investing, we do that too. I'll come up with something that I think is a really great idea, and then I'll call her and say, "Hey, should we actually do this? Is this a good idea?" So I think that she's the leader of the partnership, but
Okay.
it works really well because that's what our relationship has always been.
Or I'll
I
say,
love
I have this crazy idea. Tell me, find all the flaws in this.
Oh, I love that,
Tell me
right?
where
Yeah.
we're going to run into challenges with
Yeah.
this.
No, I think that's so smart.
We play off each other's strengths, and
And now you have 2 vacation locations in
Yes.
Florida, so that worked out really great. So those of you watching at home, I think to kind of wrap this up, the number one thing sounds like relationships.
Yes.
Get your money in order. Do your own research, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then set up systems and processes that are automated.
yes, I mean, people are out there doing this. Somebody's already done it before.
Yeah.
Other people have done the hard work for you. There's no reason to not invest because of that, or to struggle through something. Just get out there, get online, start asking. Those systems are already out there. You just have to know where to find them and to take advantage of that.
I love it. I love it. So there you go, guys, from 0 doors to 5 doors in a year, investment doors. So I love it. So give us the name one more time of of your website.
Our direct booking website for the beach house is sweetbeachvacations.com. Right now we have the one on there, and we're getting ready to add the second one. And then we're also on Instagram.
Perfect. I can't believe that was available. That just seems like everybody would have already chosen that
Why
one.
wouldn't you?
Right. That's such a good one. So I love it. Okay. I'm going to check it out for sure. So, well, I mean, with all that you have going on, thank you so much for taking the time to come in today and kind of tell us your journey. I think that's amazing. And we'll definitely have to have you back next January. Maybe we'll just do this every January
That would be great.
for a little bit of an
Thank you so much for
update.
having us.
Yes, thank you. Okay, guys, please like, follow, and share. Check out their website. And if you have any specific questions, just DM us and we'll get those answers to you. Also, check out Bigger Pockets, because we love the Bigger Pockets podcast, and basically just all things Bigger Pockets. They have everything going for them. Have you guys been to a conference yet?
Not yet. PPCon.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching.